All right, let's just go ahead and get started, and we will wait for everyone else to come in. I guess we can just start with Kima Network. So we have Tomer, the CMO of Kima Network. We'll begin with introductions. The floor is yours, Tomer. You have all the time you want right now. So just, I guess, go ahead and talk a little bit about Kima, what you guys are doing. Talk about yourself and what you're looking for with our HackaTRON as well. So the floor is yours. Take as much time as you'd like.
Great. Then thank you so much for having us. Real pleasure joining this amazing panel today. A little bit about myself. 25 years in digital marketing. I'm five times entrepreneur, more than that actually, but this is five startups entrepreneur. Lost everything three times, managed to sell two times. And since then, I became an angel investor, investing in the Web3 industry since 2019 exclusively. Before that, invested in Web2 innovations. Joined Kima as a CMO and actually as a part of, as presented as an investor initially to Kima. Fell in love with the solution and with the team, was amazed by the technology that is being built and the solution that Kima has, and I was lucky enough to get an offer to join as a CMO. I'm also writing for Forbes and Cointelegraph about GameFi, DeFi, and blockchain infrastructure. And yeah, that's in a nutshell. What Kima does. Kima is an interoperability 2.0 solution, as we like to call it. We are doing interoperability between all blockchains and all the centralized entities in the world. We're basically uniting the centralized and the decentralized together by using Kima's novel decentralized technology. We've created a communication protocol. It's basically a communication blockchain that enables any blockchain to connect to any blockchain with no smart contracts, with no oracles, and to any centralized entity to connect in a completely decentralized manner to every blockchain using our API and our SDK. Our blockchain is very unique. It's not a normal blockchain. Our blockchain has no users. Our blockchain has no smart contracts. Our blockchain has no liquidity. The only thing that our blockchain has is basically our validators who are initiating the transactions on all other blockchains. So imagine that at the moment on every blockchain on Earth, for example, on Tron, smart contracts are managing assets on that specific blockchain. In Kima, it works differently. Kima is a blockchain that manages assets on all other blockchains that we're connected to. The solution is very unique, very interesting, and if you'd like to learn more about it, you can basically Google it, YouTube it, and visit our website to read all about it. By the way, we're launching a new website. The old website is basically not something I'm too proud of before my time, to be honest. But very soon the new one is launching. Then stay tuned and you can visit it or join any one of our communities to learn more about Kima and our solution. We have many communities in many languages. I think that we have about a dozen communities now in localized languages, coming from Japanese, Korean, Chinese, Turkish, Arabic, Vietnamese, whatever you can think of, we have it. And of course, our main global international channel. That's it. Let's have fun, guys.
Love it, love it. Thank you for that, Tomer. We really appreciate that. I have a ton of questions, so I will get to them after the intro section. But let's move to Priyesh with Router Protocol. Feel free to do the same thing. Talk about yourself, talk about Router Protocol, what you're looking forward to with this hackathon.
Hello, good to be here. I'm Priyeshu, and I've been with Router Protocol from the very beginning, and it's a cross-chain interoperability layer. keen to very similar to what Kima is doing. I mean, it's a little bit different. I mean, but with like a similar problem statement. And router has been building in the interoperability space for almost 4 years, and the goal is to connect all the liquidity and all the chains. We have a product called Nitro, which is live. It can be accessed at app.routernitro.com, and it can let you move tokens between any chains. For example, if you have USDT on any other chain and you wanted to move to Tron, you should definitely check it out. It's the cheapest solution which is decentralized out there to move USDT from Tron to other chains and from other chains to Tron. And it's very fast. Most of those transactions can be done in matter of say 10 to 60 seconds, so it's decentralized and fast. So basically we realize that a lot of users are using centralized exchanges only to move their USDT to Tron and from Tron to other chains. And basically we believe like at the forefront of decentralization such requirements should not exist. Users should not be mandatorily have to give up their identity and their KYCs for doing something as simple as moving their assets between different chains. So the main competitor of ours would be centralized exchanges because they are the gatekeepers of interoperability right now. That being said, we also have like a lot of upcoming products and some of the existing products which are still in beta mainnet. For example, we do have a router chain, and it's a interoperable chain built on the Tendermint framework. On that, native cross-chain apps can be built. Even stateful decentralized cross-chain smart contracts can be deployed on that. We also allow cascading of logics onto the Nitro transactions, and we call that CCIF. So if you want to write contracts in a way, first a cross-chain transaction should happen, followed by some kind of certain logical steps that can also be taken care of using ready-made modules very easily. So this is basically what router does, and we've been doing this for a long time. Our product has overall like between different versions supported billions in transfer volumes and has generated lots of fees also, and it's quite cheap, but it's a volume game, so we managed to generate decent fees. And happy to talk about what's coming, and very excited now that we are past halving. I think like that's a big milestone which happens once in 4 years, and very excited for the things how they are going to shape further. I can like totally understand if like the people who are new to the cycle they might be feeling a little low that high having is not as good as they would have thought it would be. But I can tell you from my experience of past three cycles that I mean having takes time to actually show what it is. I mean, in the mathematical side, it's just a right shift operator, which is dividing the rewards by two. But I mean, its real implications can take at least 6 to 12 months to show. So I'm looking forward to what happens. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you for that, Priyesh. I know a lot of people have obviously opinions and predictions every time a Bitcoin halving occurs, but you definitely nailed it there. It's just a part of the Bitcoin protocol after a specific amount of blocks have been mined, and then it just splits the rewards in half. But it always points to a brighter future in my mind, at least technologically speaking. So, with that being said, let's move on to our next speaker, AI Tech, who is a diamond sponsor of our HackaTRON. By the way, Kima Network, they are also a platinum sponsor of our HackaTRON. Um, Tamer, the CMO, is also a judge of our HackaTRON, and we'll get into that later. Priyesh, also, his company, Router Protocol, is a silver sponsor of our HackaTRON. So we're very grateful and thankful for both of them and their projects. And I believe they're both judges. I know Tamer is. I don't know if Priyesh, you might be the judge for the Router Protocol. Yeah, I believe you are. Sweet. Now let's move on to AI Tech, who is a Diamond sponsor. They also have an integration and SDK toolings that they're going to be doing with us to make it easier to build AI applications on the Tron network. So expect a lot of co-marketing and collaborations with them very soon, especially since they're a Diamond sponsor with the HackaTRON, beyond the HackaTRON. But with that being said, AI Tech, the floor is yours. Please give us a little introduction of your project if people are unaware, who's speaking, and I guess what you're looking for with this hackathon, and also I guess the Bitcoin halving too. I'm a lot there, but hey, the floor is yours. Go ahead.
Thanks a lot. So, hi team, myself Neeraj from Solidus AI Tech. So, as it was rightly mentioned, we are coming up with three key solutions over the months of June and July. Our AI and GPU marketplaces coming up in June, and our HPC data center coming up in July. Our AI marketplace is some place where freelance developers and researchers can monetize their efforts, and they can basically make complete utilization out of the gig economy. And over there they can use the foundational models along with our economic GPU power that's rented out from the GPU marketplace to develop their own solutions and monetize it right there in the same marketplace. Now, in terms of what we expect from this hackathon is, I think it goes hand in hand with what we also expect after the halving. So, if you've noticed, the trend after the last halving was all gamify solutions. It was mostly, blockchain gaming, and this time I see a trend of AI related projects coming up. And I must say, it's a lot of innovative projects coming up at the same time. So I believe that including the projects in this hackathon, there will be quite a few really interesting AI projects. How they'll come into play, how it adds value into the ecosystem, that is something that we'll have to wait and see. But that is something that we're looking out, that we are keenly looking forward out of this hackathon.
Love it.
That's
Love
pretty
it.
much it from my side.
Yeah, sweet, sweet. Love that. I believe you guys have three judges as well from your team, so we're excited to see how you guys do, and of course, judge all the amazing projects that are coming through. Um, but awesome. So I think we also have Change GPT here. I think they are able to speak now too.
Hey
So the
everybody.
floor. They also are a diamond sponsor. They have an integration track and toolings that they can provide, so you can build AI applications as well. But Change GPT, go ahead.
What's up everybody? How we doing today?
Good, good, good.
Great. Thanks for having me. What's the question? I joined a little bit late. Can you catch me up?
No worries. Just give an introduction of yourself. We're still doing intros.
Absolutely. Okay, guys. Well, hey, really happy to be here to support HackaTRON and all the great developers out there. My name is Chris. I'm the marketing manager for Chain GPT. We have amazing Web3 AI infrastructure, from chatbots to an NFT generator to smart contract auditing and generating, and so much more. So really excited to talk about it and join the space today, and of course be a sponsor of the HackaTRON as well. Thanks for having me.
Sweet. Well, thank you for being here. All right. Well, let's move on to the next segment now, everyone. As you've heard it, we have Change GPT and AI Tech, diamond sponsors of our hackathon. We have Kima Finance, Kima Network, platinum sponsor of our hackathon, and then we have Priyesh with Router Protocol, who is a silver sponsor. We also have GT Protocol. I think they're having connection issues though, but they are a gold sponsor. So hopefully we'll be able to hear from them later. If not, it's all good. But make sure to check out GT Protocol. They also are an AI solution. Um, Yeah. So with that being said, let's move on to the next part of the agenda. Let's talk about the Bitcoin halving a little bit. So I would love to get everybody's input. Feel free to speak on the Bitcoin halving. Future events that your project is working on, and then I guess future technologies that you expect to come up after this halving. I know, the past halving, a lot of projects that came out were mainly NFT projects, GameFi, art focused ones. But now that we're in 2024, I'm excited to see what the next 4 years could bring in terms of Web3. So I guess that would be the main question. What are the next 4 years going to look like in the world of Web3? So we can start with, we'll go bottom up. So we'll start with Priyesh with Router Protocol. And yeah, feel free, Priyesh, if you're available.
So for the hackathon, what we would like to see is users using our SDK and to build cross-chain applications, and we will support the movement of assets from Tron to other chains and from other chains to Tron. And we have like all the tooling which is available, and we believe that there are a lot of use cases which can be built, and they haven't been built yet. So that is the part we are most excited about. And we are also going to conduct some workshops in the beginning about the like how to use our products while building on Tron. So very few interoperability protocols offer Tron in production environment, and we are one of them. And like we with good documentation and developer relation support, we really think that a lot of good use cases can be unlocked, and the Tron chain can be connected to other chains.
Love it, love it. And now I pose the same question to, I think we have Vlad actually with GT Protocol up on the mic. Are you there, Vlad?
Hello, yeah, I'm here. Thank you so much.
Perfect, perfect. So I guess I'll pose this question to you. Now that the 2024 Bitcoin halving has finished and the next one happens in 4 years, what do the next 4 years look like for the world of Web3?
To be honest, it's like really difficult to predict. Right now, we see this big trend in infra, the pin, AI. Probably, I believe that AI could be the main narrative for next few years, and we also see like this big growth in RWA. So I believe that like these narratives would be the most powerful in next coming years. But maybe something new would come out. Something maybe like something about we don't even think about it right now. Yes. So in general, I believe it's more important to be focused when, for example, when you do the project, when you start your project. I believe that founders should be focused not just on narrative, but mostly on some like pain and problem which they want to solve. And even if their project is not correspond to like one of the popular narratives, I believe it's like not the most important question. If they really can solve some problem, it's still good, and their project still can succeed. And maybe if they would solve a really important problem, they would be able to create a new narrative. So in that way, real founders, real builders, real developers, they can influence a whole Web3 industry by creating new narratives. So that is approach which I really like, and I really recommend founders and projects to do it in that way. To don't try like to don't jump in narrative and start a project in some field just because it's popular. Maybe you like no need to do it just because it's popular, because there is opportunity to earn money. Try really to find the project which an idea which would make you excited and which would make you happy and which would make you to solve some problem which is painful for yourself. I believe that is the best approach. Yeah, that is my point of view. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vlad. Thank you, Vlad. So it seems like you're really looking forward to RWAs, AI, and then, of course, making sure people that build with a purpose, essentially. And then it seemed like Router Protocol was really into the interoperability aspect of things. But okay, moving on to Kima now with Tomer. I know you guys are really big on RWAs, so I posed the same question. What do the next 4 years look like?
So, predicting the future, if I have a crystal ball, it would really help me on my day to day. Really help me with my wife, but I do not have one. But what can definitely tell you is that the market now is getting more and more mature in the realms of Web3 true exploration. So, to those of us old enough and been through a few cycles of the web itself, from Web 1 and the era of initial websites and then SEO, and then suddenly user generated content and social media and SMO and SMM. And then we had the e-commerce revolution and the mobile evolution and the gaming revolution. And now we have the decentralization revolution, which is the biggest thing that happened to the internet, I believe, since the internet itself. Digital asset ownership, right? It's completely crazy. And decentralization, it's power to the people. What's happening now is, I believe, the end of the chaos. So, pardon my French, but all the bullshit that we've seen since we've started this Web3 blockchain thing is basically disappearing, right? You know, this thing started from Bitcoin as an experiment, you know, a stupid network that can do nothing except for moving Bitcoin from one side to another. Then Vitalik presented smart contracts with Ethereum, you know, that completely revolutionized this world, you know, and made everything that we do here possible. And it brought along a lot of opportunists who were basically taking advantage of this unique uh, industry, its unique anonymous nature, and enabled many bad actors to create a lot of, excuse me again, bullshit that every bear market, we are seeing more and more of it being wiped out of the ecosystem. It was from the GameFi era to the NFT era to the move to earn, dance to earn, watch to earn, then to all kind of hypes, you know, around again. If we said it, you know, AI now it's interoperability in RWAs, but you see that the solutions are becoming more and more mature and more real. Real usage is being demanded from projects now, unlike before that you could basically invent whatever you wanted. So, excuse me for the long intro, but looking at the next 4 years, I believe that we're going to see real, um, I believe that we were going to see the true Web3 being formed. And the dot-com bubble, guys, to those of you old enough to remember, um, there were a lot of confusion around how the internet would look. People would throw money at everything in the stock market. Everyone who bought a stupid domain, shoes.com, watches.com, screens.com, grass.com, whatever.coms, would basically be traded by billions because people did not understand how the internet works, what this thing would become, and 99.9% was wiped out in the big dot-com bubble. Out of it, like 0.1% survived and created the internet we use today, right? Created the Amazon, it created the Microsoft, Apple, Texas Instruments, Intel, Cisco, AMD, Nvidia, etc., 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 etc. The companies who basically built the internet we're using today, right? The foundation of this amazing thing. Same thing, guys, happened in the Web 2 bubble. So many projects that are doing social everythings were all around and raising money. At the end of the day, the ones who survived became Netflix, Google, Facebook, Twitter, etc., etc., etc. What we're feeling now in the market is this maturity, guys, that this is becoming the thing that people are going to use, and the companies who are surviving and thriving will be the next companies who will build the foundations upon this new Web3 will be built upon. Then in the next 4 years, I believe that we're going to see mass adaptation of decentralization, decentralized internet by the masses, and not because people will be running after NFTs they know nothing about or rushing to buy Bitcoin because a taxi driver told them to buy a Bitcoin. It would be because the tools to use this new internet will become super simple and it will become accessible to everyone, that my mother and grandmother, you know, can basically start using this internet thing without even knowing how it works and what it means. It will just make sense to my kids that if they have a character in a game, they can ask their friend, "Hey, what's up, man? Can you send me that car? I need it for a race today. Can you send me that sword? I need it for to win a battle today or whatever." And I will return to someone's wallet, right? It will become a digital asset. The game assets that we're buying will become real money. The tokens that we're using will become a form, you know, true form to pay for stuff in the internet directly to the companies by utilizing their tokens and to help them grow in that way. So the internet is going to become the much more interesting place. Digital ownership is going to change how people are accepting the fact that suddenly they can have their digital creations and they can own the internet they're using, and then the stuff that they have is actually theirs and no one can shut it down or take ownership on it. And it's going to be very interesting to see how governments are going to respond to this change. And as Kima, we are here basically to build trying to be one of these companies building the foundations of which companies will be able to build solutions to connect all of the new internet together and the old to the new, which is not less important, if not the most important thing that at the moment Web3 is missing, the ability to connect the unconnected to the decentralized world in order to create mass adaptation. So looking forward to the next 4 years, guys. It's definitely going to be a wild ride. And seems like we have very interesting companies who are positioned very well to be part of this future. Looking forward to seeing all of you with us in the next 4 years and hoping to be part of it, guys.
Yes. Lovely, lovely. Thank you for that, Tomer. Again, a lot of questions pop up in my head, but I want to move forward to get everyone to speak on this question. And then I want to also make this a very collaborative space too. So if any of the speakers, want to chime in at any moment to really touch up on what someone else has said, feel free to just raise your hand. I will get to everybody, on a first come, first served basis. But thank you for that, Tomer. It really seems like the next 4 years, as previous speakers have alluded to, it's all going to be about building those foundations, making frictionless technology so that people who aren't really big on tech can still utilize the solutions that a decentralized internet can provide with it. I know Web 1 was like the read era, Web 2 is the read and write era, and now Web 3 is the read, write, and own era. It's from this book I've been reading I got from Cornell, or at least the Cornell blockchain event. So, we'll get into that in a
I
bit because
would
we have
I
a
would
bunch of.
like I would really like to know where you get this from. I
Yeah,
seriously, sorry for interrupting you, because this is
no
something that
worries.
I actually wrote like a very long time ago in one of my Cointelegraph articles. So super interesting that you just said it. I wrote this thing. It's super interesting to me. Like I first time in my life that I hear someone else say it, then it's super awesome. And I would be really happy afterwards if you can tell me where you read it. If it's in
Yeah,
Cornell, then
absolutely.
I'm very honored.
Yeah, if that's actually you that wrote the book, that'd be funny. But it was a recent book that came out. I'll send it to you on Telegram as well, and then I'll probably name drop it at the end of this Twitter space as well. I just gotta find it in my room. But all right, let's go to AI tech real quick as well. I posed the same question to you. What do the next 4 years look like for the world of blockchain tech or Web3? And make sure to unmute if you are trying to speak AI tech, if you are still there. AI tech, are you there? Going once, going twice. All right, all good, all good. Let's move on to ChainGPT then. ChainGPT, feel free to speak. What do the next 4 years look like for Web3?
Well, guys, yeah, thanks for the question. I'm in the unfortunate position of following Tamara, who just gave an amazing, comprehensive answer. So, I'm going to keep my remarks pretty brief in comparison, so we can move on. But, for me personally, I think when I first started learning about Web3 in about 2017, 2018, the promise of smart contracts and sort of mainstream adoption has always been there. It was promised. They always said it's coming soon. I'm really interested to see, is that actually going to be the case in the next 4 years? So that's kind of the main thing that I'm looking at. Is mainstream adoption really coming close, or is it still a few decades away, as some of my past colleagues have predicted? On the AI side, I think it's a pretty safe bet to suggest that AI Web3 is going to be a huge narrative going forward. I'm really interested to see in what the decentralization of AI looks like. How can that improve scalability? How can that improve privacy and data security. If you're like me, you're constantly using AI. I use the Chain GPT chatbot AI every day, of course, to find out stuff about crypto, to find out stuff about Web3, but also sometimes I go over to ChatGPT to try that out as well. We give so much information to these tools. How can Web3 help make them better? How can we own the data that we're giving, the huge volumes of data, the same way that we've all given our lives to search engines? I predict that we're going to be giving our lives to these AIs. That's pretty intimate, right? That's pretty scary. It's a big consideration to take in. How can AI help protect on the security side? And I think there's so many more advantages to decentralization of every industry. But AI is kind of this new emerging one that maybe we haven't thought about as much. So those are kind of the things that come to my mind, but sort of echo the thoughts of the great contributions so far of the other panelists. It's been really interesting to listen to as well. That's it for me on this one.
Sweet, thank you for that, man, and great insight as well. Giving your life to AI, that's interesting. That's a bold statement. I think there's a lot of DPIN projects or decentralized physical infrastructure. If anybody is aware of that, that has been popping up, and it's something that I think we're going to see a lot more of. And you can kind of feel it, you can touch it, you can really understand what it's about. And AI and other technologies within Web3 are really fueling it. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think another question, and feel free, anybody raise your hand to try to answer this. This is just popping up the top of my head, and I'll just go with whoever raises their hand first. Are we like, are we close to mass adoption, quote unquote mass adoption, or how long is it? How far away are we really from that? Because I hear it all the time. It's starting to become like a broken record. So I'm just very curious what everyone and the speakers and even the listeners, if you have an answer, feel free to just comment it down. I mean, how far is this quote unquote mass adoption? What does that even look like, too? I know maybe it's like getting your grandma to start working or utilizing Web3 tech. But if anybody has any insight, even Hunter or Mr. S, who's one of our community members, feel free to raise your hand. I will let you guys speak on that. I mean, what does mass adoption look like and how far away are we?
I would love to help if no one has an idea. If you'd like, of course, guys, raise your hand and I will be more than happy to give you the mic. As the oldest guy in the room, I don't want to sound too old. I'm not that old, guys. I'm almost 40. But it's kind of old now, you know. I used to be the young guy, guys. I used to be 16 once. So, anyways, as the old guy, back in
I
the
love that
day,
sound.
yeah. So back in the day, guys, to build something on the internet, you had to have your own server. You had to know HTML, PHP, and you had to have a scanner to scan photos. To upload them to a website, and then you had to register your website on somewhere called an index, which is basically like the search engines of old days before the internet had crawlers in it, right? The Google era. So things changed when things became simple. So imagine that. Let's talk about the Web 1 era. The Web 1 era became more accessible when people started creating their own stuff online in kind of easy ways, right? So servers became a service. You didn't have to have your own server room and to have someone who's running server from your bedroom or whatever to serve your website to people. Content management systems started to appear. Joomla, WordPress, Drupal. Then, of course, as you know, they evolved to something very simple like Wix, like Shopify, which brought the drag and drop, simple for everyone. Poof, and you're ready. No need to register and integrate payments. So the internet is becoming more and more, you can say, advanced and adopted. Excuse me, I will rephrase. The advanced internet we're using today will become better adopted when the solutions will be more accessible and more easy to use. There's a thing we used to call back in the day the grandma test. And it basically was that if you give, it to your grandmother and she can do what you're supposed to do in the app or in the game or in the website, well, everyone can do it and it's ready. I believe that the decentralized web is reaching to a point that we will soon be able to pass the grandma test. More and more innovations are appearing all around us to simplify things, to simplify the uses, and to make all of these advancements more accessible. Back in the day, guys, if you wanted to write something online, the beginning of the user-generated content, what we called the social media revolution, what we call now Web 2, because Web 3 was born, so something had to become the old thing. Then my new thing became now old. It's the Web 2. If you wanted to create something online, guys, you had to know how to code to create your own blog, and poof, you have now a blog that you can write your opinions on. And then MySpace appeared and the rest, and they made it more simple to create your blog without knowing any code. And then companies like Facebook said, guys, you don't need to know anything. Email, password, upload your photo. Here's a tiny line. Write stuff. And suddenly the whole internet can read what you're thinking. You're becoming famous on the internet, right? People can see what you're writing. You, the simple man. The simple people behind the keyboards. Same thing, guys, will happen when Web3 will completely deliver that experience to the rest of the what we called simple people. They can all use it without having to be sophisticated programmers. And I think that we're going to be there very, very soon. So what we need, guys, simply answering after this long speech, is for the decentralized web to pass the grandma test. And then we're ready to accommodate all of them.
I see. It's the grandma test. Very well put, Tamer. Very well put. Does anyone else have anything to add to that? I think that was very well put.
Yeah, that was definitely really,
Basi-
really well put. But I do have one, I guess, interesting comment as well. I was like Googling it while you were speaking, and everything you've been saying so far is fantastic. And I'm learning a lot for sure. But what I just Googled while you were speaking is apparently not even 5% of the entire world right now holds crypto. So I think it's like 580 million people, or like 4.2% holds cryptocurrency. So you would think, wow, we're pretty far from mass adoption. At least you would think. But apparently, I think it's 134 countries right now, which represents 98% of the entire global GDP. They're all exploring CBDCs, which happens to be running on blockchain technology. Back in 2020, it was only, I think, 35 countries. So, like, when the past halving was here, 34, 35 countries were like, oh, let me take a look at CBDCs, let me take a look at blockchain. So now 4 years later, 2024, now this halving, we have 98% of the entire global GDP exploring blockchain technology to then utilize the CBDCs. And I'm not saying if they're good or bad, I'm just saying that these countries are now taking a look at blockchain technology. So the mass adoption may already be here in a way in the back end. Like right now, a lot of people are thinking about like when is everybody in the world going to go to like McDonald's and Starbucks and pay in Bitcoin or Tron? But it might be that the banks are going to be utilizing the technology itself that Bitcoin helped to bring like awareness to all these countries. They might be utilizing the technology to help move money for their country, as well as you now see AI is expanding like unbelievably fast. Like everybody, the kids these days are using Chat GPT to just Google the questions or like get the answers to their homework, or you go to a McDonald's drive-through and it can be entirely run by AI. You see these deep end projects coming up. So the mass adoption, I think, is coming way quicker for the blockchain technology, for the AI, for the deep in projects. And like it's coming really quick. And I'm pretty sure we're going to see maybe like the cryptocurrency market reflect on that mass adoption in the near future, especially as you see every halving. More and more people like get interested in crypto and everything becomes more bullish and interesting. And if you ever go to any of the blockchain conferences, you generally see like every year it gets bigger and crazier. I remember like the Bitcoin conference in Miami, it started out like at a small venue in Miami, but then there was too many people. So then the next year they upgraded and then they needed to expand. And now they're just straight up going to Bitcoin. It's for some reason it's in Nashville this year, but probably because they're getting so many people that want to attend the conference. So I know this the topic of the conversations, like BTC having celebration and like when will we see mass adoption and stuff like that. And I think it's coming faster than the average person may even expect. And I'm very, very excited for it. That's all I can say. Like, I love it. Like, the cryptocurrency industry is fantastic. The blockchain itself is coming quick for people to be utilizing it, even if they don't even realize it. And then, of course, AI is taking over the world, but at least we can have some fun with it.
Absolutely. At least we can have some fun with it. Does anyone else have anything to add to this conversation? I think, Hunter, you brought up a lot of really key statistics
Mhm.
as to what things looked like before this halving, and how many people are now involved with cryptocurrencies, at least in the back end aspect of it after this halving. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the next 4 years for sure. Um, cool. I don't think there's anyone else that has anything else to add to this. So we will move on to the next segment of the conversation. Let me just pull it up real quick. Um, let's talk about some events. So, Hunter, if you want to talk a little bit about events we've done, such as the Cornell event, the Harvard event, Token 2049. I know a lot of our sponsors and co-hosts have also been to these events. ChangeGPT was a co-host of our Cornell blockchain event. We saw nearly 200 people at this
The
event.
Cornell event was
This is
amazing for sure. And Sam,
yeah,
I know
this
it
was
was me
just
and you. We were at Token 2049 in Dubai. Like, I think the other half of the team that wasn't able to make it to Dubai with us, they went to Harvard. Like, those are just our Tron events. And then Token 2049, of course, is a huge crypto event that was in Dubai. But they're like just fantastic experiences, and I'm sure a lot of the judges and sponsors up here, you've been to a lot of them as well. I know Mr. S, you're on the microphone as well, and we'll definitely chat in a minute about Token 2049 Dubai. And then I'm just scrolling through like the listeners right now, and I've seen a lot of you community members flew out to different events that we've had all across the world. Barcelona was a fantastic one, and usually every time I go to these different events, it's to just to network, to meet community members, speak with partners, and see what's happening within the industry, and also like speaking on stage to educate the masses on what is Bitcoin, what is blockchain, how does it work, and now right now the topic is like RWAs, DPIN, and AI. But specifically looking at, let's say, I'll start from just not even the beginning of April, because April was a very, very, very busy month. Our Harvard event was amazing. Many different students came out. I know Stephen and Regina, they're in the audience if they want to come up and speak about that as well. But going to these university events are, I think, very important because a lot of kids, like whenever we went to school, I feel like we were learning, let's say, good information, but a lot of times it was outdated. Like I used to get textbooks and I'd read it and I'll be like, well, this isn't relevant anymore. But now with technology, like you can sometimes even predict what's going to be happening in the future, especially with AI. So we like to go to these universities like Harvard, Cornell, Princeton, MIT, and talk to the students and show them like, hey, like blockchain technology is coming, like this is what it's doing, and just really show them like what is the future, like what does it look like, and they all get very excited about it. They always come out to our events. We even had what we I think we spoke at Princeton fall of last year. And now every single event that we go to, the students fly out or they'll take the train, whatever it is, and they'll come to all of our different events just to hang with us in different states, different universities, because they liked what they learned. It's the whole blockchain club. They're like following around the Tron team, which is it's nice to see, but they love the events. They love what they're learning. They're getting all their friends in on it. And we're making an impact. And I really like that the most is just providing value and making an impact on the younger generation where they're the developers of the future, and they're the ones that are helping to make the big changes. And we really need, I think, a lot of younger smarter people helping to show what the future is like, because right now all over the world you probably just see nonstop on the news a bunch of craziness and people in their 70s, 80s, and I don't even know, maybe 90s, pushing like a narrative or whatever it is that they want of like outdated information. But things evolve so quickly that we really do need a younger generation that's educated in the right way to show like what the world really needs to take it to where we all want to go, which is a decentralized future, having AI that's utilized correctly in a safe way, and just the blockchain technology used for payments, because nobody should ever have to do a transaction and wait 3 to 5 business days and pay expensive fees and like a whole bunch of things. It's like there's no reason for the world to be like slow paced when things are evolving so quickly.
Absolutely, absolutely. Um, to that point too, of what Hunter was just mentioning with all the events we've done with Token 2049, the Harvard event, and then the Cornell event. This is all that just happened just in the month of April, and we have a ton happening in May as well, such as Consensus, and then it kind of spills into June, and then in July we have Bitcoin Nashville, as he alluded
Yep.
to. I'm not too sure how many people are going to Consensus. I think I'm going to assume everybody here is probably going to go to
Yeah, let
Consensus.
me hit on that
Uh,
point real quick. So I think we did May was like April was insane. That was really, really good. May, what do we have? I think end of May is Consensus. So that's in Texas. June, we're going to host a really big Tron event. One of our Tron ambassadors is going to host something, I believe, in Barcelona, giving away free Tron tacos and margaritas. So that is going to be really big coming soon. We'll make some announcements about that for June itself. July should be the Bitcoin Nashville. August will be WebEx in Tokyo. September should be Token 2049 Singapore. What comes after September? Uh, mm,
We have what about Circle, right?
there should be
CircleCon,
that.
or excuse
Yeah,
me,
I think there's
ArcCon?
that one.
Yeah.
October is going to be Hong Kong for Chainlink. And then
Hmm.
November should be, there's a couple different events in November, but that's in Thailand. I think it's like the DevCon or DevConnect. And then one of our like collaborators or partners is Dune. So DuneCon will be in Thailand as well. There's also like a big ETH event. There's so many different events going on. And that's why we're even hiring on a bunch of new different members to help support all these different initiatives globally. We just hired on one new amazing community member. His name is Simbad. I believe he's in the audience and he's helping to work on our layer 2, our BitTorrent chain, as well as he is now helping to lead our HackaTRON initiative. So Tron is growing very quickly, and you can see the industry itself is growing so quickly as well that there's nonstop events globally happening where you're getting thousands of attendees. Like sometimes there's events that are massive in completely different opposite ends of the world at the same time, and people are trying to juggle what part of the world they should be in. And sometimes they just split up their team and like try and make it so everybody can like have a presence at all the events. But I mean, it's just the whole industry is growing rapidly, and that's why Tron is hiring. That's why you see a lot of different other big companies and big blockchains. They're bringing on new people. It's a very exciting time to be in crypto. And if you follow like the Bitcoin halving, it's always every 4 years, where then like a few months later, everything becomes super bullish and all the events are packed, and it's just a fantastic experience. And one thing I wanted to mention is Mr. S. I know you've been here as well. You're on the mic. I just wanted to ask you, so Token 2049, Dubai, you came out, you met the Tron team. You're also building a project in our HackaTRON. I just wanted to get your opinion on how has your experience been so far for these conferences and for, let's say, being in the Tron ecosystem.
Sure. Thanks a lot. Thanks for having me here. I apologize. I came 20 minutes late. As everyone knows, 2 weeks ago, we had Token 24/9 here in Dubai, and I'm based here in Dubai. And we had this huge storm that everyone, saw online, right? We have another one coming up this night, and I'm just looking out my window thinking we're ready. So, I couldn't find a car to get back home on time. That's why I was late. I apologize. So, yeah, Token 24/9 was great. It was my first large crypto conference experience, and it was the best one I've ever kind of experienced. I met a Tron DAO team. I met a lot of great people. I networked a lot, and I just felt like everyone I meet are like-minded people because obviously, when I think Tomer used the term called simple people. When I'm there in the streets talking to simple people, they don't get what I'm trying to tell them about about the Web3, blockchain, anything else. I try to educate them, but they don't understand it. And I also love the term what Tomer said is the grandma test. Something that like I always thought of, but I never kind of thought that it's being used. And now I'm definitely going to use that. I'm going to Google that, read more about it because it's definitely true. But my experience with generally with cryptocurrency and Tron has been great. I currently am working with a team of people. We're building a few things on Tron, and a few products are we're entering the HackaTRON. We actually submitted today. So we got a confirmation. Everything is on time. Thank God, we made it. So we look forward to that. It's our first experience entering HackaTRON, but obviously, because I met Hunter actually in Dubai. He's a great person. I was very, he's so humble, so helpful in everything. The whole Tron DAO team is amazing. So I'm really happy to build and develop on Tron because, if you see what Tron DAO is a company and Tron is doing all over the world with all these events, trying to get more people, educate them, from students to elderly generations. I don't see any other blockchain doing that. So I really value that, and that's why I'm doing my part. I develop on Tron, and I want to get as many users here as possible. And yeah, I mean that's what I represent. That's what I'm doing on a daily basis.
Love it, love it. Speaking of Token 2049, for the people that went, how did you guys survive? Because I know there was the massive flood. You know, I was there as well personally, and I'm sure everybody experienced all the flooding in that area. But I think that really just brought the crypto community closer together. And the amount of liquidity jokes I saw on my Twitter
Everybody was
were
saying that Dubai had a liquidity issue at the time, and it definitely
yeah.
did. Yeah, there was a lot of water everywhere, which was very surprising for a desert. And then anybody that's listening in, you should definitely, if you click on my profile and scroll back like maybe a couple tweets, you'll see I posted a video of at least my personal experience with the flood at the time. Now the rest of like I was there for a week, and the entire conference and the like there's several conferences, but the entire trip was amazing. However, that one day was quite the adventure. I got into like my taxi from my hotel to go to one of the conferences, and it started to rain. And the you could see the taxi driver like started to get nervous. He's like, "This is weird. It usually doesn't rain like this in Dubai." I'm like, "Oh, it's no big deal. Happens all the time in Florida. I'm used to rain." And then all of a sudden, you just started seeing cars stopping in the road, and then water was rising really fast, really high. And then when we got to the conference that I was supposed to get into, it was actually so flooded at the entrance, and the car, like the water's up like to the tires. He's like, I can't pull in there. I'm like, yeah, you're right, let's go back. I ended up getting trapped on the highway for like 4 hours, and then me and the taxi driver just like we video called my sister. We're like, hi, and she's listening in on the audience as well. But we were like just playing around, like waiting for the roads to open up, and then all of a sudden you saw everybody get out of their cars because the police were saying, yeah, the roads aren't going to open for 24 hours. So everybody just hopped out of their taxis and cars and were checking into the hotels that were next door or walking however many hours or miles back to their place. And I ended up doing the same thing too because I had a meeting in like an hour. So I hopped out of the taxi, walked through the water, which was like waist deep somehow, back to my hotel, and then got back to work. But other than that, it was a fun time. It was definitely a wild day. Don't know if it'll happen again because it is a desert, but the whole conference, Token 2049 itself, everything went extremely well. It was a really good bonding experience. Like everybody was telling their stories of what happened and how they escaped and what they did and who they were with. And Tron ended up making really good connections with some really important people because of what happened. So in a way, it was good. It was definitely a really good bonding experience, and I'm
I
really
have to add to that. Sorry, Hunter,
no, you're good.
for interrupting you. It definitely was a great bonding experience because, in a way, it was a serious disaster. Let's call it. It was a disaster because there were so many flooded houses, flooded the whole region was in flooding, right? Flooded.
Hmm.
But like-minded people all together, sometimes stuck in one place like for longer than they were supposed to be there, sharing their knowledge, meeting each other, like on a personal level. It definitely built that bond, and I'm looking forward to, for example, Token 2049 in Singapore because I know a lot of people that I've met are going to go there. Obviously, you guys will be there as well, and I already, I got my ticket, I booked my flights. I'm mentally, I'm there. Unfortunately, I can't make it to the US to a few events that your guys hosting, but obviously, my core team members from our projects will be there. Some of them are here in the audience, so they'll definitely attend, and they've been there before as well, and they speak highly of those US based events as well. But you guys, I have to say this, hopefully, it's the right place to say. Tron that generally has the best after parties anyone else there does. They're the most fun. That on the top level, great guests as well. Even on the Tron after party at the end of Token 2049, I've gotten to meet like such important people that I couldn't get to see at the conference itself. So definitely, it was a very, very great week, and thank you very much for hosting it and for sponsoring it as well.
Definitely. I'm so glad you and your team and a whole bunch of different Tron community members came out to Token 2049 in Dubai. It was a fantastic experience. And then, yes, Tron actually does host probably some of the best, if not the best, blockchain parties. Like overall, we have a lot of VIP events as well. I remember one of my very first, when I first got onto the Tron team, they're like, all right, come to New York. We're hosting a private whale party. And then it was only like executives from top people that like Web3 and Web2. And then we had like this raffle. We were giving out prizes, and the prize was like iPhones. So I'm like, what? So we were giving away iPhones. We are giving away Tron swag. We're having these like really cool events, and that was just one. And then every time we go to like Singapore Token 2049. We always go big for that. Last year we had over 1,300 attendees. It was 3 stories big. There was an indoor Ferris wheel. There was a slide from the top to the bottom, free drinks. It was wild. I think there was even a beauty pageant in the beginning. I do not know why. But it was there, and then it was a great, great night. So Token 2049 Singapore, it's going to be a blast. That should be in September. The one in Tokyo is really good too. Like every event we have, whether it's US, Asia, the one in Barcelona that we're going to have in June, that should also be fantastic. Like there's so many cool things going on. And the whole point is we like to go big for these events because we know a lot of people come out from all over the world to connect with the Tron team or just like different partners and collaborators of ours. And we want to have a nice, like good location for everybody to network and enjoy their time in whatever country that they're in and really just get to like let's say not have to put on your professional face and be walking around the conference in a suit. You can sit back, relax, enjoy a drink, good food, get some cool prizes, get some nice swag, and just really get to be yourself and connect with everybody else within the industry.
Absolutely. I just want to touch up on something as well. You mentioned that you do a lot
Guys,
of events with.
excuse me for stopping you. Please
Oh,
excuse
sorry.
me. I gotta run, guys. I'm too late, man. I'm 2 minutes late. Please excuse me. Just wanted to thank everyone for the
No
time.
issues.
And excuse me for interrupting in the middle. Looking forward to seeing all of you in the hackathon, guys. It was a lot of fun. Learned a lot of new things here. It was really, really fun. Thank you for having us. Gotta run. Want to stay married. And I have a meeting to attend to.
It was a pleasure to meet
Thank
you
you
as
for
well.
your
Hopefully, we'll
time.
be in touch.
Thank you,
Thank you.
guys. Bye bye.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.
So, as I was saying, Hunter, can you hear me?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, so you said you do a lot of events, in different universities, and obviously trying to educate students and get them on board, right? Like to explain them what is it, what is the whole thing that we're doing here, right? And why is it so important for everyone? But I feel like, I'm 32, like on Saturday, right? So I'm not that old and still
Oh,
young,
happy early birthday. Nice.
Thank you, thank you. And what I was, I, for example, personally think that like all the youngsters there, they're like early 20s, mid 20s. They should all know already everything about blockchain and Web3 and the whole industry, right? But it happens not to be the case. I mean, the reality is like most of them, they actually don't even interact with it today, and that's something that I find very shocking. I almost feel like we should already start educating children in school about what we're doing here, so they're so when they grow up, they're kind of more advanced in whatever the future holds for them, right? That's kind of where I would start. Even like those 12, 13, 14-year-old kids. I don't know whether the laws regulations allow that, but like that's the age when I think we're looking at their interest, and those kids will become so well advanced, educated in everything we're doing that they will literally they would be a great future. They would hold a great future for us, if they learn
Exactly
learn.
what El Salvador is doing. I'm not sure if it's like elementary, middle, or high school, but they made it part of their like required curriculum is their students before they can graduate have to learn about Bitcoin and blockchain technology, which makes a lot of sense. I even in the past I interviewed a lady and spoke with her for a bit. Her name is Michelle Sun, and she I think created like coding for kids or something like that. And it starts like her whole initiative that she created was is teaching kids at a very very young age how to code and how to be a developer. And in the beginning, like when I first heard about it, I'm like, wow, that's crazy. But now I'm like, no, it actually makes a lot of sense. Is you see kids these days like very very young and they know how to work an iPad, iPhone, or
Exactly.
just computers better than like even us. So it makes so much sense to be teaching the younger generation at an early age, hey, this is like blockchain, this is AI, this is how to code, and it's really the future, and it's just setting them up for a success.
Absolutely. I'm glad we agree on this, because like if that happens, and when that happens in schools, then then that's where the mass adoption is on the way, really really here, almost around the corner. Because like I, for example, personally, I went when I was a kid, I'm from Serbia, but when I was a kid, I was growing up in Moscow. So I went to high school, I went to Moscow, right? It was a great school. I learned so much, but nothing technology related, absolutely nothing. And I feel like I've missed out a lot. And I have 2 boys now. One is 5 years old, the other one is 5 months, so he's still a baby. But I want to educate them already from the early stages on what I'm doing today, what I'm trying to achieve, right? And how they should be seeing, what direction. I don't think they will be doing some regular works, right? Like a regular university. I think things will change down the road. So I just want to get them ready for that. I can't see the future, but at least I can try to predict some certain things, because we are here today.
Teaching the 5-year-old blockchain. That's lit.
I know, right?
Sweet. Okay, we also have Steven here, but before I hand it off to Steven, I want to bring the conversation back into, just some quick last remarks from ChangeGPT and AI Tech. Um, excuse me. Before I do that, HackaTRON Season 6 is still underway, everyone. So check the pinned tweet to submit your project for HackaTRON Season 6. Again, ChangeGPT and AI Tech are diamond sponsors of this event. Then you got Kima Finance. You heard from Tomer, who's a very intelligent guy. Been in the Web3 space for a while. He's a judge from Kima Network for this hackathon. They are a platinum sponsor. And then you heard from Vlad earlier as well with GT Protocol. They are a gold sponsor. And then Priyesh also spoke earlier with Router Protocol. They are a silver sponsor. So again, guys, make sure to give them all a follow. Make sure to submit your project to HackaTRON Season 6. We have a lot of amazing judges that are taking part in it with up to $650,000 prize pool as well. So again, I want to thank the sponsors, the co-hosts for doing that. But before that, I guess final remarks from ChangeGPT and AI Tech, and then we can go back into discussing, I guess, just community initiatives and things of that matter. But ChangeGPT, if you would like to go first in terms of giving like remarks as to what you see the future looking like with blockchain before we wrap things up in about 10-15 minutes.
Sure. I think if you don't mind, I'll just talk about our products a little bit and how people could integrate them as they're preparing their hackathon submissions. How does that
Yes,
sound?
go ahead. Go ahead.
Sweet, sweet. Yeah, so guys, the whole vibe is the whole what I've been sent here to tell you is that our products at ChangeGPT are the ultimate AI solution for your crypto needs. ChatGPT, as I discussed earlier, has a lot of great functionality, but I think when it compares to us, we have a system, a chatbot that's way better trained on crypto stuff, and there's a few reasons for that. One is that we have a AI trading assistant, right? And you can use this to punch in information about any crypto, whether it's Tron or something else, to get indicators on trading, especially important during times in the market where things are changing right now. Another cool thing is that we have like actual on-chain data. So if you put in a wallet address into our app, it can actually analyze it and tell you what the tokens are, what the transactions are, and stuff like that. ChatGPT can't do that. Like if you ask it, if you just give it an Ethereum address, it's going to be like, what the hell is this? So that's one of the cool benefits that we have. We actually have a video that I've scripted and working on with our video producer, which is like a literal face down battle between ChatGPT and ChangeGPT specific to crypto stuff. Okay, admittedly, they have a lot more resources and development behind them. We are a year old. They've been in the works for tons of time at this point. So they have their advantages. Fair enough. But when it comes to crypto, like I truly believe this product is like your one-stop shop. Smart contract auditing and generating. If you have a smart contract that you developed, whether it's a fragment or a full contract, same exact place where you would ask it, what's the price of Tron today? You would punch it in and it'll tell you some really intuitive information. It won't just give you like tips, like general generic tips like ChatGPT would. It would actually fix your code for you and send it back for you. So the whole point I think of sponsoring HackaTRON is to show people that our SDK toolkit is available to you. Everybody talks about AI, but how many companies actually provide the API access and stuff like that to support developers when integrating this stuff? We do, and you can search on Google ChangeGPT SDK tools for all the information there. It's pretty extensive too, and we've seen some really cool stuff come out of it. And personally, I'm not a judge for the hackathon, but I can't wait to see what you guys build, what happens. And as I'm talking here, and I'll just talk for another minute or so, I invite everybody to pull up the app. It's app.changegpt.org. Check it out. It's so cool. We've got tons of different features for you guys. AI news. Basically, we scour the internet, our AI does at least, and generates Web3 related news for your benefit. Really cool feature. And of course, our AI NFT generator. I know NFTs are maybe not all the rage that they were a while ago, but we still believe in them, and we think tools like this can make them have a comeback. We've just released brand new updates to it. We have like a new marketplace. We have a leaderboard. You can now mint on a ton of different chains for Chain GPT NFT generator, and also directly onto popular sites like Rarible and OpenSea. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, there's tons of stuff to talk about, guys. I don't want to take up too much time, but one last thing I want to mention is CryptoGuard. We talked about AI and Web3 security, or at least I did earlier in the chat, and we've actually recently released a browser extension called CryptoGuard. For my money, this is the best Web3 security tool like on the internet right now. It's free. It's in the Chrome store. Go to my pinned tweet and download it. It can block phishing sites. It assigns risk scores to smart contracts. If you accidentally like try to connect like a sketchy or weird smart contract, it will warn you. So yeah, tons of features for that. We've released videos on YouTube like detailing all the stuff to do with CryptoGuard. So yeah, just really excited about all the cool products that we have, and can't wait to see how people integrate them into their hackathon solutions and beyond. So thanks for the time today. It's genuinely it's been an awesome space to listen to everybody. So really enjoying it so far. Thank you.
Yes, yes, and thank you so much. Feel free to stay here as we continue to speak, so everyone can check your pin tweet as well. Love everything that ChangeGPT is doing. They also were a co-host for our Cornell side event, where we had over 200 people, or around 200 people, join in person. It was a great, great time. I believe you guys also have a $1 million AI grant fund, so make sure to check that out as well for anybody listening in.
Yep. And lots of that money is still available, guys. So if you're a developer in the audience and it's like literally, we want to pay you to integrate our tools into your project. So the best thing is just to have a really comprehensive and well put together application, because the worst thing is when someone submits an application that just like they kind of rushed or didn't put a lot of thought into. It really doesn't take that much time. Just put a little bit more effort into it, polish up those applications, and I know the team would be they're eager to give you money to develop. So thanks for mentioning that program as well.
Yes, that was a weird noise. That was going to be a money sign. But yeah, thank you for that. Make sure to check it out, everyone. And again, if you missed that, just reach out to us on the DMs. We'll be happy to help there. But all right. Now, AI Tech, if you are still there, I don't know if you got rugged earlier on. You're just kind of looking at us with the profile picture. But if you're still there, feel free to speak up.
They actually received a grant from ChangeGPT, so shout out to AI Tech. We love you guys. We don't know where you are, but we love you. Thanks for coming.
Yes.
Good talk.
Either way. They did have a lot of great things to say earlier on, and of course, we're going to make sure to clip that and post it as much as possible. But with that being said, make sure to check out for more collaborations coming our way with ChangeGPT AI Tech and our other various sponsors and co-hosts of our HackaTRON. Again, the submission period ends, I think, in like a week, so make sure to submit while you still can. Ends May 7th, actually. So do not miss out. You definitely want to take part in it. But with that being said, I'm going to pass it over to Hunter now. We can talk about some major community initiatives with Tron. So take it away, Hunter.
Sure, let's do it. And then, yes, season 6 of the HackaTRON is wrapping up pretty soon. But if you're just now hearing about the HackaTRON and you're like, dang, you don't have enough time to submit, don't worry, because season 7, which is not even publicly announced yet, but HackaTRON season 7 should be coming this fall. So there's always many great opportunities for community members and developers to participate, win some prizes, have some fun, connect with the team, and just really get connected within the ecosystem. But let's move back on to, if you'd like, I would say all the different events that we have, whether it be the university events or the conferences. Stephen, I know you just hopped on the mic. Let's say introduce yourself and what brings you up to the stage.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, I appreciate being able to speak. I did have some thoughts. There's a lot of great content. The definition, or I should say, the title of this Twitter space is "What New Tech Will Be Coming." So I did want to touch on that. But as far as the initiatives for the rest of the year, we have a lot more universities that we're trying to partner with. Some that I can't announce just yet. But if you've seen our track record, we were at Princeton. We just had an event with MIT. We were also at Harvard, and we just had a phenomenal event at Cornell. Again, Hunter said it earlier in the space. The whole idea is this is the next generation of builders. We grew up in a time where internet was really just gaining its traction, and I think we're seeing the evolution of that now. And these younger developers, these students that are currently in school, they really do understand that this is going to be a major industry and it's going to take part in everybody's lives. Without getting too dystopian or a little scary, but AI is going to be something that we're very familiar with as time goes on. So some of the new tech that I think is coming, DPIN is something that you're going to hear a lot of, and that stands for decentralized physical infrastructure networks. Basically, it's a fancy term for allowing current systems such as like marketplaces, user data, and even cloud sharing. So if you guys know anybody who has massive, amounts of computing power, there will be ways to be incentivized to allow and give back to the users for that. And DPIN is kind of adding blockchain with utilizing these structures and then incentivizing users to whether it's your data, your cloud computing, or even your marketplaces. This will all be integrated one day. So when you kind of put that on the table, you can really see like, wow, this AI and DePIN and cryptocurrency as a whole, these things are going to be a major part of everybody's lives. So shout out to Chain GPT, shout out to AI Tech and all of our other speakers. These are going to be people I feel we see in the industry for a very long time. So really excited about that. So thank you, Sam and Hunter, for letting me get my 2 cents in there. But as far as the rest of the year, for everybody in the audience, we have a lot planned. Mr. S gave us a shout out for some of our after events, but those are important because not only are they a fun party, but everybody here in the chat, if you do have the availability, please come out. Getting to meet people on the ground and talk about what we're passionate about. You'd be amazed at some of the magic that happens there. So we encourage all of you guys, reach out to Hunter, reach out to myself. We can let you know the upcoming schedules. They do change pretty rapidly, and sometimes events will pop up out of nowhere. So follow the Tron DAO account and follow everybody else in here. Put those notifications on, and I guarantee you'll have a fun rest of 2024.
Very well said. Yes, all of our events they're very exciting and they're very fun. And just the conferences alone, they're worth going out. Like not even just to meet the Tron team, but just to go out yourself and to check out all the different booths, get all the swag, go to all the different parties and to network with everybody in the industry. That's what I was doing even before I was with Tron. I was always like a big supporter of crypto and blockchain, and I would like just in my free time go out to different conferences, whether it be the Bitcoin Miami Consensus. I went. I'm from Florida. I flew to Texas. There was even something called the Metaverse Summit, which was in Paris, and I like had a like really good in trading. So I'm like, oh, okay, let me use some of the profits and go out and explore a new country and check out what the metaverse is all about. And I still think that like is a little ahead of its time, but the metaverse does have a strong place in our future, very similar to AI and all the other cool tech that is being developed. But Mr. S, while you're still on the mic, I wanted to talk. Let's say you had a great experience at Token 2049 Dubai.
Yep.
I wanted to ask you because I know you're in our hackathon and I know you're trying to build a community. I
Mhm.
would want to ask because I see you doing it really well. So what advice would you give anybody that's listening in right now that's trying to build a project or trying to build a community? What does it take to be successful?
Well, thank you. Is that you calling me successful already, or?
Yes, I am. Yeah, you with
Thank you,
personalities
sir.
like yours, then that's exactly how you succeed.
Thank you very much. Well, I think the secret recipe is actually just being yourself and being transparent when you're building the community. Whatever you're doing is just literally be an open book. Don't hide anything. Be present. Work every day. I think every project, whether you're building a product or a meme token or anything else, the community is very important, and you gotta stick together on a daily basis. Doing it by yourself, just a solo, it's not possible. You have to have a great team, and usually that team is formed within the community members. So I think that's what drives every single major project out there. And blockchain as well is that kind of community slash. I don't like to use the word cult, but the collective amount of people that believes in something together, and that's a driving force. I think that's the main thing. The literally the first thing. Aside of that is just like enjoying what you're doing. Like never do anything that you don't like. I'm happy every day with what I'm doing. Like I'm building on Tron. I'm trading some other projects. Products on different chains. I'm very much close with some other teams building on different chains as well. L1, L2s. I'm just enjoying every second of it. And yes, I don't sleep much, and my wife is very patient, but it gives me that drive, to just live every day and to enjoy what I'm doing. So yeah, I think these are it's simple, but I think being honest. If you're leading something, it's very important to be honest, to be the face out there, and to be honest with everyone. You may have a bad day, you may have you may make a mistake or something. Just admit that and move on. Don't try to trick someone, because blockchain is so transparent, that there's so many people out there reading the chain 24/7. So yeah, just be yourself, be honest, and things will come to you. And obviously, attending conferences. The reason I said this is my first one in Dubai here, because I personally thought that those conferences are literally useless. It's not worth going there, because my previous life, well, I say previous life, before crypto, I was, I'm an architect by profession, so I had my architectural bureau in London and Moscow as well. So architecture is my passion still. But I just kind of moved to Web3, and I'm also keen on maybe in future developing something to do with my previous profession within the Web3 industry. So yeah, and when I was attending those conferences, Web2 conferences, architecture and design, I mean, they're nice, but they're so boring, and like they never bring any kind of major business kind of thing, right? They don't make you money. But when I attended Token 2049, there were people literally saying, "Hey, are you building this? We're happy to invest in you." Even they've met me, they've known me for 5 minutes. They're literally, we're in a great time in this cycle, and this is a time to build, to create, and to grow. So yeah, I hope that answered your question. But thank you for calling me successful. I
You're
blush every
very
day when
welcome.
I'm in the space with you guys. But yeah, thank you.
You answered it perfectly, and there's several good points that you made, but I want to bring them up for sure. It's like you said that you had a different passion and a different, like, let's say, industry that you were in,
Yeah,
uh, but then you got into Web3. And I tell people all the time, it's a really good point, is when I tell people you need to get into Web3 or get into crypto or get into blockchain, they think it's like they need to completely like switch like the personalities or hobbies or interests or lifestyles, and they're trying to like leave something that they're interested in to get into something new, but not necessarily. You can, and I tell people all the time, when you get into crypto or blockchain, you should use, whether you're in it for like the money or you're in it for the networking ability, like whatever it may be. When you get into crypto and blockchain, you can network with all these great people and help to uh, like advance whatever your current passion is. It doesn't even matter what it is, or whether you're trading memes and just trying to make money. Like, you don't have to make that your day job. You don't have to become a day trader. You can just use the profits that you make from whatever investments that you have, and then use it to fund your passion, whether it's cooking,
absolutely.
artwork. It can be literally anything you like to do. Just use this to help you advance more of what you really enjoy doing.
Absolutely, and obviously, I think it goes like, I absolutely understand what you're saying, because I have a lot of friends, from high school, from university. They see me what I'm doing, and I share with them, but they don't understand it. And every time they need something, they just come, "Hey, can you help me with this?" I was like, "Listen, the way I learned is like, I went online, I Googled something, I YouTube something, I went to some kind of Telegram channels. That's how we learn anything today, right? You don't have to go to university. It's not that I'm saying don't go to university, but like, I think that path will change as well down the road, because I just feel like you can educate yourself in anything today, because everything is so accessible online, and there's so many tools out there. As Tomer was saying, like, everything is becoming simplified, and even our space will become simplified for the simple people, again, his term, to educate themselves, right? For example, this there's a taxi driver I know here in Dubai, and he was asking me today, "Hey, hi sir, can you please help me? Maybe, like, I know you're in cryptocurrency, maybe you can help me do something, maybe make some money." I was like, "Well, if you just want to, like, drive and make money, like, because obviously his main job is driving, right? Just take whatever you have available, buy, like, major coins, like either memes or, like, Bitcoin or Ethereum or anything out there, which is a top list, and keep driving, and then come back in 1 year or 2 years, or maybe just leave it there for like 10 years." I was like, "Okay, thank you so much." So I was like, how do I create an account on like one of those exchanges? So I was like, well, easy. You Google an exchange that you heard of, go online, create an account. So they feel like there is such a thick wall between them and that, but there is none. Like, everything is
It's
becoming very
true.
accessible.
That's such a good point. Is whether it's a taxi driver, somebody giving you a haircut, or just like a family or a friend.
Yeah,
Like, I hear all the time. Like, I tell people that I'm like in crypto in blockchain, and they immediately are like, oh well, like like, what do you have your degree in? And I'm like, it doesn't matter if it's in fine arts or art appreciation. Like, you can do this no matter what. Like, everything I'm doing now, I was doing while sitting in the back of my college classes, not even paying attention, and just like reading up on like coin market cap, going on trading view, like checking out what's happening in the industry. Self-education is so important, and it's free. You can go to Barnes and Noble or whatever bookstore happens to be in your area, or the library, or just use like Chain GPT or Chat GPT or
Exactly,
any other, just
exactly.
literally just research. It takes very little time, and you'll be like, wow. And then it's just starting, just basically starting is the hardest part. Most people don't think they can start because they don't have the tools, but the tools is literally just an internet connection, and then get all the answers you want for free. And then some people just straight up like participate in airdrops, and then they use, like, you don't even need money to get started. There's so many
Absolutely.
ways to get involved for free, and this is the best industry for everybody, no matter where you are in the world, where you come from, whatever your age is. Blockchain is literally for everybody.
And the only
100.
one remark, sorry, sorry if I interrupted, Stephen. The only one
No, no
remark,
problem.
they asked me like, oh, but I'm afraid to get scammed. And, like, I was like, but listen, if you've been in the space for a long time, everyone gets scammed at least once, your wallet's wiped out or something. You make a mistake. That's a normal thing. Like, if anyone tells me he's been in the space for like 5, 6, 7 years, it hasn't happened once, I don't believe them. I honestly don't. It's just almost impossible. So, it's part of the learning process. It's the same if, like, you fail an exam, right? You get yourself prepared better, you pass that, and then you move on, right? So, like, it's same here. Hopefully it doesn't hurt as much, because obviously, depending how much you get kind of scanned for, but that's a part of the process here as well. And
It's
obviously, crypto security is super important. I mean, ChainGPT, is it Justin? Sorry, I couldn't hear the name, who's behind the page, was referring to. It's super, super CryptoGuard, I think you said. It's super important. Like, I generally want everyone to be safer, but for that they need to pay more attention to what they're doing. There's so many different ways of, like, those people on the other side trying to steal your money are getting smarter every day as well. The more we learn, the more they learn as well. So we need to somehow stay protected, and there's different tools as well out there. But definitely, I'm sold to ChainGPT. I'm gonna definitely use their tools. Definitely, like, I heard so much today about them, and I'm gonna look them up after this space and definitely start using, because it seems like you guys are doing so much that I wasn't aware of, and I'm happy to have learned that today.
I would
love
say,
the
we do have D up here as a speaker, so I want to let him get some words in as well. But for everyone in the audience, I did want to give Mr. Minter a shout out. When I was getting into blockchain, I was a technician for a company, and basically I was working, behind the scenes. And I remember having a very vivid conversation about, how do I get into blockchain, and I don't know if I could do that. And going on to what Hunter was saying and Mr. S, don't be afraid, guys. You'd be surprised how much knowledge you might actually have. So be open to it, be ready to explore. But, you guys know more than most people in the world. Hunter gave some statistics earlier about that 5%. Everybody here in that audience, you are that 5%. So if you have any, exposure, if you've been in the industry as an investor or watching on the sidelines, you'd be surprised how far that can go. Don't be afraid. Like Mr. S said, there's always some things to be weary of, but put yourselves out there and go to some of these events, network a little bit. You'd be amazed at some of the opportunities you can find. So I definitely wanted to give some positive outlook for everyone here. But I do see D is up as a speaker, and I know we're running a little over on time. So D, if you had anything to say, please share.
Absolutely. Hey, I appreciate the opportunity. Hello, everyone. Hey, Tronics. Hey, Tron DAO team. Thanks for putting on this exquisite space. I'm so pumped to see more and more of the community holding spaces, and you guys are even showing up for some of those. It's so awesome to feel the support from Tron DAO, even in the small gesture. So these spaces are awesome to learn so much about the team and what's going on, and the amazing. I've already downloaded ChainGPT's Guard because I too have experienced a phishing scam. Lost a considerable amount of BNB. It can happen to anybody if you move too fast. If you're just not paying attention, it can happen to anybody, and it's a learning curve. So despite losing all those funds, I could have paid off my student loans. I could have put down payment on a house. I could have done a lot with it. I'm still here. That's my level of conviction. So I hope that inspires some people that if it has happened to you too, continue to find a way, because we're still so early, as was posted through the main account on TronDAO just a couple days ago. It's so true, because I have definitely been able to recoup some of those losses, and I see so much potential. And we were talking about bringing new people in. Those after parties are perfect. Invite your friends to the after parties. Invite them to the conference. Just the other day at ETH Boston, first at Harvard Blockchain, I met somebody who was not into crypto at all. They just had a friend invite them, and the energy is contagious. We've got special energy. We know where the future is going. We at least have a clue of where it's going. It relates to most every industry. It doesn't. That's what I always tell people when it's like, okay, well, what industry do you work in? And it's like, this is going to be an infrastructure that business and apps, and it's going to touch everybody's lives, whether they want it to or not, because it's a more efficient way to keep information organized. So invite your friends to the conference. They're going to catch the bug. They're going to be like, oh, wow, actually. And then they use their imagination to connect the dots and how it relates to them. And and then eventually people find their place and they figure it out. They download the apps. They get more things. So recently, my one of the projects I co-founded this month, with the help of the Coconut Chicken Launchpad, was the Tron Guy project. And so I'm at a point where I'm personally inviting friends, family to, join the cause for the Tron Guy project. And I am experiencing those first-time user objections where they wouldn't even consider buying Bitcoin. They wouldn't even consider buying any other crypto, but they know me. They know that I'm into a project now, and they know, and trust me. So they want to support. And so you're going to have to deal with people saying, "Oh, I don't know, that app I didn't recognize. It looks like it's developed by some other in some other country." And it's just like, well, I use Tron Link every single day. And you just have to find ways to just calmly move past their objections, overcome their fears, and introduce them in small doses until they get their legs. So I don't have anything particular other than just supporting. So thanks for giving me a little blip on the program today. But if you guys have any questions about the Tron Guy, I'd love to share about that, but I won't take up the space to talk about that.
I feel like you're being extremely modesty. D has come to a lot of our events this year. He went to like he said, the MIT event, the Harvard event. We would have loved to see him at Cornell, but it's a little bit further down of a drive for him. So I definitely understand. But that network effect that you're describing is very real. So, or again, don't underestimate the power that you guys have. Whether it's getting in the industry, looking forward, and seeing how this technology can impact not just your life, but like D said, business. It's a better way of tracking data. So, whether we like it or not, it's going to be in your payroll. It's going to be how businesses actually communicate. And it's going to be maybe the future of, that AI DPIN topic I discussed before. So if you guys were curious and you're in this space, follow that curiosity. It definitely brings you to many great places. So with that, though, I want to maybe pass it back to Hunter or the host. I really appreciate everyone's time here today.
Yeah, Sam, if you're on the mic, we can definitely wrap up the space. It's been a fantastic hour and a half, but I guess. Oh, a cow.
I
What was
love
Oh
that?
my,
this
Was
holy
that a
sound.
cow.
bull? That came out of nowhere. I thought it was literally, I literally turned around in real life. I'm like, what? Thought I'm about to get attacked. Okay.
I
Yes,
love this
I am
sound.
very bullish. If that was a bull or whatever animal it was, I'm going to pretend it's a bull.
It's definitely a cow, but yeah, I guess the same denomination in some way. But yes, thank you everybody so much for joining in. Again, HackaTRON Season 6 ends, or at least the submission period ends May 7th, so stay tuned. We will have another Twitter space probably later this month or in June. It's probably going to be something around security, data, something like that. We'll figure it out. We'll bring in key experts on the topic, and then, of course, community members to have an amazing space. But for that, thank you, everyone. Thank you to ChainGPT, AI Tech, our diamond sponsors. Thank you to Kima Finance, our platinum sponsor. This is all for the HackaTRON, by the way. Thank you, GT Protocol, our gold sponsor. And then, of course, thank you, Router, our silver sponsor. And thank you to the community members and everyone else for joining in. With that being said, feel free to stay up to date with what we're doing. Make sure to follow, like, retweet. You all know what to do. So with that being said, thank you all. See you next time, and have a good rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot. Bye.